I feel beaten down and exhausted. I have been searching for a new job off and on for 6 months. I was let go from my toxic job in July and I was actually excited. No more people yelling at me. Less stress. Less anxiety. I thought getting my next job would be easy. Fast forward 3 months, almost 50 interviews in total and I get a contract position at a new company. Turns out that their culture was even worse. Even more abuse. I left after a month. I have applied to over 100 jobs over the past month and about 1/6 of those turn into interviews. I see the posts on here and I am lucky, because it seems like I am faring better than a lot of people. But then comes the interviews. The same questions. The lack of follow-up after the interview. The weeks that go by. Lack of any communication in general, 3 to 6 rounds of Zoom interviews with a range of people who don't seem interested at all. And at the end of it all, the person chosen never seems to be me. Not enough big company experience for a small company, not enough big company experience for a big company, not enough / insert ultra specific niche here / for company X. Trust me, my resume is solid, my interviewing skills are there, everything has been optimized, but I feel like I am running in circles. The amount of rejection is bringing me down to my lowest point and this never seems like it's going to end. Every day is the same, filled with meaningless interviews, rejection emails, and applying to jobs. What's the point of all of this? I am having a hard time seeing the light at the end of the tunnel and honestly I don't really know what to do. This has been the worst year in decades of job searching. At least, in my experience, you're not alone. I actually just chose a lower wage feel-good job working with animals. Yep, I was having no luck in my field / salary bracket, so I took the plunge into something else. It will be tough financially, but I hope will lift my spirits. And the key, I'll continue searching for jobs. It was honestly my only option, especially now that it's mid-dis all corporate / professional jobs in my field and most fields will stop hiring until post-holidays. Jan / February may be too late for a temp job, but sometimes you just need $and to lift your spirits. Good luck. Thank you for the kind words. A feel-good job sounds nice. I am just dealing with this constant feeling of failure. Your last part about it being too late for temp work. Not really. Mostly all I do is work in temp, as direct hire jobs are so damn hard to acquire, and even though some of the jobs really suck as far as the type of work and environment, they do hire anytime and hire faster. The pay is also usually above minimum wage. Best time to get at a temp agency is early in the day before they have finished filling all of their positions for the day. And likewise to make sure to check in with them earlier in the week, I suppose, preferably Monday before they start running out of jobs in the week. Office and clerical type jobs and other non-warehouse jobs take a while to get word back, as the places a resume was sent to take their time to review resumes, and plus they are just damn picky and petty. Some places respond faster than others. Warehouse jobs through temp usually take someone in quicker, as they often need several people for roles. I once got a temp warehouse job that I was told about one morning and they wanted me to start that same morning. I hate warehouse work, tiring and long days of you work on the floor, but it is a job and one doesn't have to stay there forever. Because you can leave, of course, or the assignment will end, which happens a lot if they don't put you on permanent, which is not often the case. Ditto, all the work I had this year was a 1-month contract and I just applied for something retail until I can get something more permanent. Were you gonna start reapplying in Jan/Feb? Hang in there. I lost my job also. Everyone is having a difficult time. I'd also like to mention that I couldn't find a job for a couple of years during one of the recessions, but everything worked out in the end until COVID. So there is hope. When I feel down, I just tell myself that there are 1 million+ people in a similar situation right now. It doesn't mean you aren't good enough. Your time will come. I hope so. I know there are lots of other people in similar positions, but damn, the rejection feels so personal. Hey, I see that you are also in product management. I had the same problem. I was getting interviews but never got an offer after 9 months and 10+ on-site interviews, mostly phone. Was also coming from a startup background. I paid for 1 session with an interview coach and got an offer on my next interview. I'm happy to pass along what I learned or the coach's info if you are interested. That would be amazing. I, too, would be extremely grateful for and interested in this information. I'd like to have some info. I'm in technical writing. Do you know if this coach is helpful for other industries or only the product management field? What role are you looking for? The system is broken. It is a complete mess with countless inefficiencies. Keep your chin up, keep trying and do small tasks and jobs to keep you afloat. I am looking for a product manager role. I work in tech. But, the field is so much more impacted than it used to be. There are so many people vying for positions, it is overwhelming. I just wanted to say, keep your head up, you are getting a lot of interviews, which is amazing. And don't be too hard on yourself. It is impossible these days. I appreciate it. I just wish I had some tangible idea of how close I was getting to the end. You gotta remember, it's the job market too. This year I lost my job in January and by Feb I had a 6-figure job. It wasn't hard to land a job. It's a sign of the unfortunate times. Don't beat yourself down, I'm going through the same. Would you like me to send you a link to a resource that has helped me WJTH peer support, mock interviews with companies like LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook? And help with job searching? I can PM you. I used it when I got laid off and still use it. That would be amazing, thank you. Could I please be sent as well? Thank you. Congrats on landing your job earlier this year. Hey, can you send me this as well, would really appreciate it. I left a toxic job in July and worked day and night to find a new one. I burned through half of my savings, consulted friends and family, pestered honestly for resume and interview feedback, and eventually it panned out. I was just offered a position last week. It is possible. Don't give up hope. Congrats. Yeah, I honestly still feel really bad leaving the toxic job that I had. A lot of comments on here giving me a hard time for leaving during this pandemic, but I couldn't do it anymore. Keep going, try to fill your day with interviews. Depending on your field, work on freelance projects and build a portfolio. Pitch yourself to startups with strapped budgets. If you're living with family, I'm assuming you are since it has been 6 months, do freelance work at lower rates to build a diverse portfolio. There is a well-documented bias against the unemployed that begins immediately. If your resume states that you haven't been working for 6 months, this will count against you in their minds. If you have interviews almost every day, are applying for jobs, and are working on projects, you will feel like you're heading towards a goal and it will help stave off depression. If you haven't guessed already, I'm speaking from experience. Good luck. Thanks for the advice. I have been working on freelance projects. Do you think a portfolio is important? I don't know if the reason I am not getting a job is because my lack of portfolio. I guess it couldn't hurt. I'm sorry, please keep at it, keep your trying your best. You will get a job soon. Thanks. I hope so. Good luck. Thanks homie, continue this thread. I'm sad to read that, but don't give up. Take a break even, every so often. But don't give up. You are doing better with actually getting interviews, even if it is not many. I don't even get interviews despite several jobs applied for. I get discouraged often and my mood sometimes sucks largely because of this problem. My last job was through temp. I can barely get a job direct despite my skills and college education. Temp is usually the way I get work. It was as a post office assistant. The position ended and I suddenly had no job, again. I tried applying for unemployment and I get no response after applying. And they are very hard to get on the phone. This country of United States, where I was born, is full of st. It is not a land of opportunity as much as people say, and COVID has made it even worse. I was just now served a paper about rent being past due and needing to respond within 10 days or will be evicted. My boyfriend has a job and he is trying, but he can only do so much and I can't seem to pin down a job. When the guy served the paper just now, I saw a stack of other eviction notices in his arm. Lots of other people are struggling and this stupid system of ours, including employers and hiring officers, don't care. After giving me the paper and explaining it, he goes and says, "Merry Christmas." I didn't say anything in return because possibly getting kicked out of a home is not a Merry Christmas. I love Christmas, but this year is probably going to be a terrible one. After all, the whole year itself has been tight. I mean, I thank God for all the times we've been making it and can be in a home and have food and since gas for our cars, but things are real tight now and I am sadder more than ever. I keep trying, though, because if I give up I will really fall, then. Right now I'm going to go to the apartment office and see what they can work out. On Monday I'm going to call a temp agency very early in the morning and see where I can get placed at. Temp work is the quickest way to get work in my area. Maybe you can try temp work so you can at least have money coming in until you find what you really want or need. I hope things work out for you. I should tell you temp work is just that, temp, so you need to be looking for work while in a temp position because it will most likely end in 1 to 3 months with no plan to make you permanent. I have rent I haven't been able to help with, lately, and I also have a car note and insurance I can barely pay. At my wit's end at this point. I am really sorry to hear that. I wish I could help out in some way. It is hard to separate my value from a job at this point. I wish it didn't. It is just some kind of way right now. PM me if you want to talk. I can always make time to talk. What questions do you ask in the interview? I always make one of my last questions, is there anything you want in this role that you don't see on my resume? Follow up with something you've done close to it or say you're more than willing to learn it and will enjoy the challenge. In my interviews, I always look up how the company I am interviewing with gives back to the community and I talk about why that excites me. Last week I interviewed with Under Armour. The first round interview she asked me why I want to work at UA. The obvious answer is I'm unemployed and you're hiring, but I was prepared and talked about the money and pride they give to my area. If the interviewer is controlling the conversation, politely interject when appropriate, "Oh, I did something similar to that it." And elaborate. When you're done the interview, send a polite thank you email and snail mail a handwritten personal thank you card expressing your excitement. Usually they are specific to product management, which is what I am interviewing for. Questions usually are along the lines of, 1. What works about the current product development process and how can it be improved? 2. What guides product strategy? 3. How are you measuring the success of this role in particular? In my interviews, they are usually companies within my niche of digital health products, so with the companies I interview with I am usually pretty familiar with their tech. I could probably be a little bit more specific. I am pretty on top of it when it comes to talking about my experience in relation to certain aspects of the job. Thank you for your advice, but this is part of my issue right now. I am doing all of those things except for the snail mail and it is still not hitting. That's the frustrating part. I recently decided to leave my industry for a minute, due to compliance and legality issues, as well as poor mistreatment. I have tons of experience and a well put together resume with excellent references, no luck. I also get tons of interviews, but they never seem to follow up. I even received a, "We think your skills and experience is impressive, however we have decided to move on to the next candidate." It can be truly disheartening. I decided to apply to different jobs and take a shot there. Honestly, I am at a point where I have considered Amazon. Trust me when I say that none of this is your fault and that you are doing everything you can. All you can do is keep trying and keep your head up. This year sucks, but I am sure it will start looking up soon. Sending good vibes your way. You got this. Don't lose hope. Appreciate it. Thanks for the positivity. Currently applying in the same field as you and seeing a much lower app/interview ratio than you, so you're in good shape in that department. Also agree how ridiculous the interview process is now, it is way too drawn out. I feel ya man, it is exhausting to put in this much work and see practically no result. Feels like there is no light at the end of the tunnel, but I think it is more of a reflection on the job app/interview process than it is on the applicants. If you don't have a vast network in the industry like I don't, the odds are stacked against us. But, it only takes one, so I guess we just have to keep plugging away. Also, take a break for a week or so and relax, it will be worth it. I have been one of the final two choices after a litany of interviews only to not be chosen, much like you described 6 times in the past several months. It manifests into toxic self-talk all the time. It wears on you for sure, I hear ya man. I'm so sorry. I hope something you never saw coming happens soon. Something bigger and better than what you expected. Trust me, you are not alone. I gave my 8 years to a company, and everything went downhill just before COVID started, with my new disgusting inhumane manager. I got shit from my manager because I took my 3 weeks vacation for my wedding. I was told I am unprofessional and I should not have left for vacation when business is busy. Meanwhile the vacation was confirmed by that horrible woman months ago. And they gave me shit for something that happens to me once in a lifetime. Getting married, right after I was given more projects by this woman every week, more workload. At one point I was waking up 5 AM and sleeping at 1 AM. Non-stop working and eating. She was taking from other team members and giving projects to me. She was humiliating me in meetings. When she doesn't agree with me she called me I am dishonest, in front of directors, horrible, just abuse for no reason, to a point one day I asked her, is there something you don't like that you want to tell me, because noon in my career was hateful to me. I was like a zombie even when working from home. Then July hit, she fired me, with the excuse of COVID layoff, when the horrible company was making much more millions with the consumer surge. COVID layoff is BS. Trust me, there are so many horrible people out there. For months I looked for jobs, cried after every interview, after every stupid question. It is a horrible year, but there are better people out there, better jobs, you just have to go through this push through. When you think you are tired, think of many other people on the same boat with you. My experience with project managers was when the company wanted to spend money there were a lot of positions and work, and if the company was tightening their purse strings they often didn't spend money on new projects. I used to work for Wall Street and I often worked with project managers to obtain and test new software that fit our needs. I know it's frustrating, but you will get a job. Thank you for the positivity. Send the hiring manager an email and ask for feedback. Or do what I did and start your own business. You can do anything that you set your mind to. Thanks. I am working on building a business right now actually. Just trying to do both. In the meantime I highly suggest getting a DoorDash job. You choose your hours, can cancel or start shifts at any time, and if you don't accept anything under $5 or $1/mile, you'll make $15.30/HR easy. I lost my job thanks to COVID and actually I was offered it back recently and refused. I could never settle for the low pay for such hard work and little flexibility again after DoorDash. I've tried Grubhub, Postmates, and Instacart too, but they typically aren't worth it. It cuts into unemployment if you do. The system is icky. May trust it isn't you. A lot of business hire based off of who you know, not what you know. Wish I could provide advice. This is a really rough time. I would just say, go to the interview and then move on from the company. If they want you, they'll reach back out. I interviewed someone in the middle of October. I know it is not much, but it really helped me personally to read someone else struggling in the comments, too, so take my thanks in posting this because it resonated with me in my own journey just to find a good job. I'm so sorry you have to go through this hell, too. I think with how popular this post has gotten and with the supportive responses, no, you're not alone in this and you're not alone in suffering through this terrible system. I was furloughed in October, but they made it pretty clear I wasn't coming back. I first saw it as an opportunity to finally land a job as a graphic designer and finally get something in my degree, but it has been almost 2 months now and it has been a draining experience. It really does grab onto you and make you feel like a failure with so much rejection. Unemployment isn't even really helping me with daily expenses, but I'm blessed that I can still live with my family until I'm back on my feet again. I've broken down crying because of how frustrating this is, application after application, rejection after rejection. I've been ghosted by employers so many times at this point. I've even had to do mock-ups for work just for a chance at a position. Yab. Free mock-up design work just for a chance at an interview. Only one position has given me compensation for my time in making a sample piece for them as part of the interview process. There are so many scummy companies that want to have graphic design interns and finding ways to loophole around paying people just so they can get free work and try to pass it off as an internship. So I might just throw in the towel in the new year and just find something that won't be a miserable experience, like a call center or retail hell. It scares me to have to go back out there in a dead-end job. Especially now in our COVID times. I do wish you the best of luck, truly. It sounds like you are killing it in your search and landing interviews and believe you absolutely know what you are doing and would be a great employee for what you are looking for. I also agree with others to say be kind to yourself and don't forget to take breaks. Even if it doesn't feel like it, you're doing a great job. Everybody else has said it is a very difficult time to be job searching. The fact that you are able to get up every day, exercise, I can't even summon the motivation to any kind of exercise anymore lol in job search, and then do passion projects is really phenomenal. It might be hard for you to be proud of yourself, but keeping at it despite the rejection is really great. I went through this the past few years before coming back to the military 7 months ago. I'm happy with my decision. I didn't do it for money per se but more out of the need to have purpose. My parents would say to me, all you need is one person to say yes. I know I don't offer much in the way of advice, but simply sharing where I came from helps too. I'm going through the same struggle. I am also applying for product roles and it has been so draining, multiple companies, multiple rounds of interviews. It is just never the right fit. It is getting ridiculous. There was one company where the hiring manager rejected me because she didn't think I could write PRDs exactly like they did. Wait, what? I have experience writing PRDs. I told her that just because I write PRDs tailored to my current company's needs, it doesn't mean I wouldn't be able to write documentation the way that her company wanted. There was no sample case provided, so how was she so sure that I wouldn't be able to do this task correctly? I can relate, man. I was looking for new jobs last year and only had a few interviews and still found the whole process exhausting, even though I've still been employed the whole time. Recently I've tried just getting a new role with my same company and have had no luck there either. I get little to no negative feedback. I'm basically told the hiring manager liked me but just went with someone else. It is pretty frustrating when you're not even receiving feedback to work on. I don't know what else I can do to be more successful. Anyway, enough about me, just wanted to say you're not alone and to keep chipping away at it. Don't give up. Besides sending resumes, try to enhance them, learn new skills in your field of work or deepen the ones you have. I searched for my first job in IT for almost a year. It has been a long road, but I've learned a lot. Besides university, I've made courses, projects, and tried to enhance my resume and my interview skills. A month ago I started working as a trainee in a giant of IT and I cannot be happier. Another tip, if you are exhausted of sending resumes/studying/practicing, take a little time of. It is very easy to end burned out and not noticing it. One thinks that one cannot get burned because you are not making money, but you are working overtime to get a job and that sometimes it is even more demanding than the job itself. My girlfriend tricked the ATS software by copying and whiting out the job description. She applied to 2 jobs and got 2 offers. Should I do it too? So she found this trick on TikTok. You copy the job description into your resume word by word. Put it in 2pt font size and white it out. Convert the Word document to PDF and submit. She applied to 2 jobs. She wanted no networking/referrals, got 2 interviews and got 2 job offers. Granted, she is very good at interviewing, but I basically wrote her resume same format, same action verbs/power words. And this is for entry-level full-time job too. Meanwhile, I have applied to 45 summer internships. Got rejected by 10. No interview calls. No phone screens. My girlfriend is pressuring me to do the resume trick. Should I do it too? It is pretty unethical immo. That's really interesting. Also, there's no way to know if it actually worked to get interviews, and it is definitely not what pushed her through from interview stage to offer stage. If you try this, just know that there are pretty simple ways for people to find out that you did this. You can just highlight/select the text in the PDF. If it starts getting popular on TikTok, companies might start checking for it, who knows. In my experience, internships are actually some of the most difficult positions to land. It seems counterintuitive, but the lower you are on the ladder, the more competition you have. Internships are at the very bottom of the chain, so you have the widest pool of applicants that qualify and are interested in the role. Yes, if you Ctrl+F search even a few words of the whited out description in the PDF, it will highlight it. Very easy to find. That being said, I'm about to try this LOL. Can't be worse than my luck finding an entry-level position so far. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much. I was about to give up or take a break. Especially with COVID, there must be a huge pile of students for a smaller number of available positions. I'll try the trick on a few applications, but mainly I'll focus more on trying to stand out and ace the interview if I'm lucky enough to get one. Up-to-date ATS is already screened for white text. That was a trick that worked 10 years ago. I agree that internships are really hard to get. Applied for loads last year and didn't have much luck, then I couldn't afford to intern and decided to try entry-level full-time positions. Got 2 interviews. I don't understand why posts like ops get so much attention because there's just so much misinformation in it. Everyone is so focused on trying to game the ATS as though that's what will get them hired instead of doing things that actually make a difference, like writing better resumes, learning how to interview better, writing a good cover letter if they want to put in the effort, networking, etc. You can fake your resume all you want, but if you can't interview, you're just wasting everyone's time. That friend probably got job offers because regardless of the gimmicks, 1. She had transferable skills for the role or actual relevant skills. 2. She interviewed very well. 3. She had a decent amount of luck. 4. She applied to completely different companies where the barrier to entry wasn't as high. OP said he wrote her resume but using the same verbs doesn't translate to the same relevant skills, and it's unclear if they're even in the same fields. He also doesn't clarify if they applied to the same places, if they applied around the same time, or if there is anything else relevant about his strategy besides the resume gimmicks. This whole thing is like clickbait or a ploy to get desperate job seekers to keep trying shit that doesn't really work and therefore effectively taking themselves out of the candidate pool. Finding a job is hard, there is a lot of competition, adding more BS step to the process for you as an applicant is just going to make it suck even more when you're still not hired. It may be unethical, but if companies do unethical shit all the time in the application process, why shouldn't candidates? How is that unethical? You're not lying, or claiming education or job experience you don't have. You're just making sure they don't screen you out for not including specific keywords, assuming their software isn't too smart. If you want to work for an unethical company, don't worry about compromising your ethics. If you want to work for an ethical company, realize that you will carry that guilt and/or imposter syndrome with you when you get a job you might not deserve. It is unethical to get rejected for a job just because some algorithm decided that you are not suitable for an interview because you didn't stuff your resume with keywords after you spent hours preparing your application. Just do it, get past the machine screening, and let a person decide if you are not suitable. For sure, TBH, I'm getting super tired of this whole thing. They're asking me to know like 10 to 12 different tools/applications just for internships. You need to figure out if your priority is being ethical or getting a job. Mine would be the latter, so I would do it. It's not your job to be a moral compass for some HR rep. I don't think it is even unethical. It isn't a guaranteed job. You are just bypassing a computer to have a human look at your resume, which they should be doing anyways. It isn't like copy/paste equals job. Copy/paste helps get a human to give you 2 minutes to skim your resume. Is that any less ethical than saying, hey dad, can you ask your friend at company X to have a look at my resume and consider me for an interview? Only difference is not everyone can ask their dad. That only helps to get your resume to be reviewed by a person. If your resume is crap, then that's where the plan will die. I don't see a problem with giving yourself the extra bump. It is not like you won't be grilled after that anyway. If you're a bad fit you won't get hired anyway. I spent around 20 hours in countless meetings with my school career advisor for my resume. My wordings and formats are fine. It's content I'm lacking. Work experience, campus jobs, dev experience, academic projects, hackathons. It's the content internship I'm trying to achieve, and it's not giving me a chance. Unethical? What's unethical about tricking a resume reading algorithm? I put it on the same level as when I would cover up the plates on my car and drive through red light cameras with a gorilla mask on. Zero fucks. Get a job however you can. Do it. Who even cares, honestly? There is no professionalism left in the workplace anyway, plus these companies don't give a shit about you. OMG. The truth in this statement hurts. The real trick is to put it in the footnotes. It won't create another page and it won't show up on highlighting the text. Edit. I've never attempted this, but this does seem a reasonable and possible way to bypass ATS if it rejecting you even though you're a possible good candidate. But ATS will still read it. Continue this thread. So I just did a LinkedIn learning about ATS, and if you want to see how your resume would compare with the job posting and the ATS, Job Scan. CO is your go-to. There is a free and premium version. ATSs strip out all formatting including color when someone sees it on the other side. This isn't a trick. Recruiters can literally see it happening. This isn't why your girlfriend got hired. Ooh, how do you know this? I suspected this too. I tried it and uploaded the resume to a Workday application, it didn't parse the whiteout part. But I'm guessing the actual ATS grabs these. I'll see if I can find a free ATS online that I could try and use. Either way, if I get caught, there's two possibles: resume get thrown in trash. Or recruiter ignores the copy-paste. Supposedly most ATS will filter this out, no idea if it will negative impact you by using it though. This idea has been around since the 90s. People who think it is unethical will already know how to search for it, so you probably aren't going to fool anyone. Except a computer sorting algorithm. Honestly, candidates have to run a gauntlet to get through the process, even to get an initial contact. It is an interesting trick. It didn't get her the offers though. This is an old trick that most HR personnel knows about. It could be frowned upon in certain organizations, but then again I can't speak for worldwide. What does Pitbull know about HR practices? I personally wouldn't do it because she might be in a different industry than you from your description and might have gotten by with a good resume and great interview skills. Just do the basic thing where you include keywords in your resume tailored to the job post. I have several resumes ready depending on the position. I mean, at some point a person had to look at the resume, and people interviewed her. The algorithms companies use are terrible, and if this gets you past the computer so somebody looks at your resume, shrug. If companies are going to be lazy enough to not bother giving people a chance to be screened for potential interviews, why should you care what they think? Ironic. I'm skeptical this will work with every ATS, but I don't see a problem with it. All it does is gets your resume looked at by a human. Who can still reject it? You're not lying about your credentials, and you still have to do well in the interview. So all it does is give you a little boost. I don't see it as cheating or unethical. You gotta apply to hundreds not tens. Took me 300 applications. How long did it take you? Continue this thread. No, that's not a typo. We'll compare your resume to the job description and try to see what ATS they use and give your resume a score to see if it will be viewed by anyone and suggest changes to make it better for that job. I saw that it's only free for a few scans. The more you copy the better the chance that they'll look is, but be aware some ATS will rip out the text from your document and show it all in the same size so it will be obvious if you copy and put it in the bottom of the page. LOL. However, I can almost guarantee a bunch of places will just print the PDF you send, if the ATS picks it. Not going to work. The ATS software can scan the placement of words. Too many keywords too close together? Gotta kick it out. Can I see this trick via link? I've embellished a few things on my resume. I've been struggling to find a job, mostly because I graduated in May of 2019 and have very limited experience. I'm guessing it has to do something with my resume as well. I apply through LinkedIn, Monster, Jobs. ATSs strip out all formatting including color for the person on the other end. This trick will not be hidden in any way. I do not have the particular TikTok, but the idea is to put the job description for each job application in super small invisible white font at the bottom of your resume. That way it shows up as a perfect match to the ATS resume reading software. Here's some discussion about it. https://www.reddit. Yes. Employers game job seekers, we're just playing the same game. Some ATS scan for this now. In 2 to 3 years all will. Still works on almost all government jobs. You could do both approaches, by that I mean submitted the enhanced job description version to half the next round of positions you identify, and the do completely original custom tailored to each position resumes for the other half. Whatever approach you use, staying organized and following up helps too. Heard a story about an aspiring HS student who did tons of scholarship applications in his sophomore and junior HS years. He explained using a spreadsheet to track each scholarship application, having a large whiteboard in the family dining room, and enlisting both parents to help or they pushed him to stay on task. This young man pursued every option and treating the applications like a full-time job. He ended up with $80,000 in scholarship money. Be that guy, organize your information and get to a point where you can generate a new resume for any job description in 10 to 20 minutes, you will win the offers.
Like and subscribe for more Reddit content. Watch the next video at the top of your screen.